always jump in shoes on the stuff.
Oh, that sounds so good. It's so pleasant to have you here. Anyway, thank you all for coming, and I want to especially thank Lauren for saying that she wanted to do her book launch at her local bookstore, which is us. And I'm thrilled to have you all here, and I'm thrilled to have her marvelous work, both artistic and authorial. And I will turn it over to her, because I think you probably all know her as well as I do, if not better. And I don't know that I need to introduce you. Do I need to say anything specific about you?
No.
Anyway, welcome everybody, and thank you, Lauren.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank all of you, and I want to say something specific about Eileen. But this is a great, great bookstore, and I'm glad she has it here. We love walking down the path, coming here and browsing all the books, and you can even rate her on with that card. Rate her store. But we love her. And I want to thank the Irvine family. This is Peter, who's the papa in the book. He posed and also happened to play the banjo, and so he supplied an old banjo for me for the book. And where's Alexandra over there? She was Minna. And Anna Marie, Alexandra's mother, was Aunt Nora, and sometimes the mother. And the Waldorf school provided the chickens and lots of the children and sheep and goats, and we have some Waldorf people here, and my writing group is here. So anyway, Amy and Babs and Dennis over there, he's everything. So this is my first novel based on the Ragcoat, the picture book I did. And I'm going to read chapter 35, which is near the end. And it's about, Minna is the speaker of the book. And she's 8 years old in Appalachia. Down there you say Appalachia. Don't get mad at you. In 1908. And what else do I need to... That's about it? Okay. This chapter is called Show Me the Way. Facing Mama was going to be a problem. She might not be mad at me, but she might cry, and that would be worse. So I headed up to Aunt Nora's. The air was strangely still as I walked. Then I heard something crunching through the leaves a ways behind me. I stopped to look, but the noise was coming from the other side of the ridge, where I couldn't see. I knew the bears had gone to bed for the winter. I thought maybe it was a bobcat, or worse, a hungry panther. Oh, Lord, I thought, please don't let me die. I'm sorry I said those things. I don't really hate anybody. Just show me the way out of this. I stumbled over a rock and took that as a clue. I scooped it up and put it in my coat pocket. Mama had added that pocket because she said, you never know what treasures you'll find. Mama, I may never see you again. At least you won't know how I was teased about my coat, but it will all be bloodied just like Joseph's coat. That thought really scared me, and the noise was catching up. I grabbed the nearest pine tree branch and scrambled up that tree as quick as I could. My heart was thumping so fast, and I could see my breath coming out of my mouth like big puffs from a locomotive train. All the while I was thinking it was useless for me to be climbing, because the panther was a better climber than I could ever be. I was more like the rabbit and shouldn't have had such a colorful coat. There's a picture. I could have blended into the leaves, and no one would have noticed me. No Clyde, no Lottie, no Susie, and no panther. I perched on a branch, crunching up in a ball, and took the rock out of my pocket, ready to pound that panther in the head when it got close. The noise stopped right at the base of my tree. It was hard to see through the pine needles, but I could just make out a dark shape that was climbing up after me. I closed my eyes. Oh, dear God, oh, great Spirit, Mother Earth, Holy Mother, little folk of the forest, Papa, help me. I opened my eyes, clutched my rock, raised my arm, and looked right down into the face of Lester! Minna, what the heck are you doing up there? I breathed out, not realizing I had been holding my breath. Lester, I growled at him, you scared the wits out of me. Don't ever do that again. I thought you were a panther. Lester just started laughing. It's not funny, I shouted. Normally I would have laughed too, but my feelings were so ragged that they just spilled into buckets of tears. Well, it felt like buckets anyway. "Aw, Minna, don't cry." Lester looked away from me because he was a polite boy. "Come on down." "I can't," I said between sobs. "Why not? You're in the way." He laughed again and jumped down. When I reached the ground, my legs were shaking so hard. Something about seeing Lester's concerned face made me realize how funny it all was. "Lester, I thought you were a panther." We both laughed. I was laughing so hard, tears started running down my cheeks again. I was crying and laughing all at once. "Come on," said Lester finally. "We better get back to school." I shook my head. "Nah, I'm going to your Elise's house. She'll understand why I ain't going back." "Minna, I thought your mama said not to say ain't, especially since you're a schoolgirl now." "I ain't a schoolgirl no more," I said, walking in the direction of Aunt Nora's. "Any more," corrected Lester as he followed me. Snow flurries were coming down, and we tried to catch them with our tongues and make up what they tasted like. "Cherry," I said. Lester said peppermint. Then he said, "Those kids sure can be mean though, can't they?" "You saw what they were doing?" I asked. "Yep, I can see why you never want to go back." "That's right," I said. "I can make my own way. People don't always need people. I can choose what I want to be, or who I want to be with." "Yep, with friends like that, who needs enemies?" added Lester. I was glad he was seeing things my way. I had figured he would, but then he baffled me by saying, "Yep, your pa told me I was something, and that it didn't matter if people said I was nothing. It didn't matter what they did. If I think the right things and do the right things, then I am something. You just gotta like yourself enough to listen to your own voice, because that's the true voice." "My pa said that to you?" I asked. Lester said, "Well, most of it. Some I learned from Elise and my own ma and pa." "Lester," I asked softly, "how did your ma and pa die?" He stopped walking and looked down. The white flakes were melting as soon as they hit the brown leaves. "It was a fire," he murmured so quietly I could barely hear him. "Our apartment caught on fire in the middle of the night. Someone grabbed me and carried me out, but it was too late for my ma and pa. I hope, they died in their sleep." I shook my head, feeling sick. "That's so awful. Did white people start it?" "Folks said so, but no one could prove anything." "Didn't that make you hate all the whites, Lester?" "People are the same everywhere. Some are nice and some are mean, and it hasn't anything to do with their color or where they're from. Some of the Cherokees had colored slaves too, Minna, and it was a white man who risked his life to save me. I'm a mix of all of them, so how can I hate anyone because of their color? I'd be hating myself. What Elise says is that you can't help what others do. You only have power over what you do and how you..." Sorry. "What you think. So it's like I was saying, don't let anybody else's bad behavior change yours." I thought about that a bit and said, "Lester, I do believe you got the right way of thinking." I hooked his elbow in mine, turned us around, and headed back to school. As we got close to the schoolyard, I said, "Lester, I should tell them that a panther chased me up a tree, but when he climbed up close and saw my beautiful coat, he said, 'Minna, with a coat like that, you must be something. So I'm not going to eat you up today. I'm going to let you go back to school to tell them how this coat is filled with something. But if you come back here thinking you're nothing, then I'm going to eat you up.'" Lester laughed. "Yep, you got it right. Maybe Panther is your totem now." I said, "Well, I'd still like to be friends with Rabbit, too."